Everything you have been taught about gratitude is making your situation worse. I know that is not what you expected to hear. I know it runs against everything every teacher, every book, every motivational voice has told you. But I am going to show you today that the way most people express thanks, including the way you have been expressing it your entire life, is not opening the channel of blessing. It is sealing it. And until you understand exactly why and exactly what to do instead, you will keep practicing gratitude and keep wondering why the results do not match the effort. This is not a small distinction. This is the distinction. The ancient teachers of our tradition were not vague on this point. They were precise and they were urgent. And the precision they left us is the difference between gratitude that functions as a spiritual technology and gratitude that functions as nothing more than a social habit, polite, pleasant, and completely without power. Think about your own life for a moment. Think about how many times you have been told that gratitude is the answer. Keep a gratitude journal. Say thank you more. Count your blessings. Find the good in everything. You have heard all of it. Some of you have tried all of it. And yet here you are, still in the same financial position, still hitting the same ceiling, still wondering why the practice is not producing the result the books promised. The problem is not your sincerity. The problem is not your effort. The problem is that no one ever taught you what gratitude actually is in the tradition that originated the concept. Modern gratitude culture took one fragment of an ancient and highly precise teaching, stripped out its mechanism, and gave you the emotional shell without the operational core. What you have been practicing is the shape of gratitude without its substance, and the shape alone has no power. I have been a student and teacher of Jewish wisdom for over 30 years. My own teacher used to say that the most dangerous kind of wrong is the wrong that wears the face of right. Gratitude practiced incorrectly wears the perfect face of right. It feels good. It sounds good. It looks correct to everyone around you, and it quietly holds the ceiling in place. I want you to type in the comments right now and tell me, what surprised you most in what you just heard? You do not have to have an answer yet. Just tell me what landed first. Whatever your reaction is, agreement, skepticism, curiosity, write it. I read every comment. I will respond to as many as I can. Your reaction in this moment is itself a piece of data about where your relationship with gratitude currently sits. Now let me show you what the tradition actually says, because the myth we need to dismantle first is the one hiding inside the very word most people use. In English, the phrase thank you is so common that it has become nearly invisible. You say it at the checkout counter. You say it when someone holds a door. You say it when a compliment arrives, when a small favor is done, when a meeting ends. It is a social lubricant. It is a grammatical courtesy. And in most of those uses, it carries no real weight, no real recognition, no real spiritual content at all. It is the sound of acknowledgement without the substance of it. The problem, and this is where the ancient tradition diverges sharply from modern understanding, is that the Hebrew concept at the root of Jewish gratitude is not about acknowledgement. It is about recognition. The phrase the sages used is hakarat hatov. Hakarat means to recognize, to identify, to see clearly, to perceive something that was previously invisible or taken for granted. Hatov means the good. Hakarat hatov does not mean saying thank you for the good. It means recognizing the good, seeing it fully, tracing it to its source, and then naming what you see aloud with precision. The sages taught that an act of giving has 3 layers. There is the gift itself, the money, the opportunity, the open door, the kind word, the helpful hand. There is the giver, the human being who became the instrument of delivery. And there is the source, the force the tradition calls the giver of all gifts, the origin point from which all provision ultimately flows. When you say thank you to the person in front of you and stop there, you have acknowledged 1 layer out of 3. You have recognized the instrument and ignored the source. And in the tradition, a channel that is only partially acknowledged is only partially open. This is not abstract theology. This has a direct, observable effect on what happens next in your financial life. Let me show you what I mean. I want to tell you about a woman named Devora. She came to one of my study circles about 4 years ago. She was in her mid-40s, a professional woman, careful with money, thoughtful in her spiritual practice. She meditated. She kept a gratitude journal faithfully, had kept one for 6 years. She was, by any reasonable measure, a grateful person, and she had been stuck at the same income level for 9 years. Same ceiling, same patterns. Work would come and then contract. Opportunities would open just enough to feel hopeful and then close before they materialized fully. She told me, sitting across from me at a small table in the back of the room after the class had ended, that she felt like she was being punished for something she could not identify. She had done everything right. She had been grateful, she had been generous, she had been patient, and the ceiling did not move. I asked her to show me her gratitude journal. She had it with her. I looked through it. Page after page of careful, sincere entries, beautiful language, real feeling, and the same structural problem on every single page. She was thanking the delivery mechanism and stopping there. Someone had referred her business, and she had written, "I am so grateful for my colleague who sent me that client." A contract had come through, and she had written, "Thank you for this opportunity." Beautiful things, all of them. True, all of them, and not one entry that traced the gift through the human hand to the source from which it came, and not one entry that named specifically what she had received and what she intended to do with it. She was performing the emotional motion of gratitude without completing the circuit. She was, as the sages would have described it, holding a vessel under a tap and forgetting to open the tap. All posture, no flow. I gave her one instruction for 30 days. That was all. One shift in how she expressed gratitude. Not the quantity of it, not the feeling behind it, but the structure of it. And I am going to give you that same instruction today in exact detail. 31 days later, she sent me a message. A contract she had been waiting on for 4 months. A contract she had genuinely given up on had closed. A second, unexpected referral had arrived from someone she barely knew. Her income in that 1 month was the highest single month she had recorded in 11 years of practice. She did not change her marketing. She did not change her prices. She did not work more hours. She changed the structure of her gratitude, and the circuit completed. I am not telling you this as a guarantee. I am telling you this because I have watched this pattern repeat enough times in enough different people across enough different circumstances that I am no longer willing to hold this teaching only in private rooms. Here is the teaching. Here is the exact shift. There are 3 elements that must be present every time you practice gratitude for it to function as the ancient tradition intends. Not 2 of the 3, not whichever ones feel natural, all 3, every time. The first element is source acknowledgement. When something good arrives in your life, a payment, an opportunity, a call, a kind word, a door that opens, before you thank the person who delivered it, pause. 1 breath, sometimes just 1 second. And in that pause, trace the gift through the human hand to the source. Say it aloud, even quietly, even privately. You might say, "This came through this person, but it came from the giver of all provision." The sages were not asking you to ignore the human being in front of you. They were asking you to see through the human being to the full depth of what is actually happening. The colleague who referred you did not create that opportunity out of nothing. The client who hired you was moved toward you by a force larger than both of your decisions. Acknowledge the instrument and acknowledge the source, both, in that order. The second element is specific naming. This is the element most people skip even when they know to try. Vague gratitude. I am grateful for my abundance. I am thankful for my blessings is not hakarat hatov. It is a category, not a recognition. The tradition requires specificity because specificity is what proves that you have actually seen what you received. You cannot recognize something you have not looked at carefully. Name the exact thing. Name the amount if there is an amount. Name the timing. Name what it allowed you to do or stop worrying about. Name it with your full voice and your full attention. The sages taught that a blessing named specifically is a blessing anchored. A blessing acknowledged vaguely is a blessing that passes through a room and finds no place to land. The third element is forward declaration. This is the element that separates gratitude as reception from gratitude as transformation. After you have acknowledged the source and named the gift specifically, declare aloud what you intend to do with what you received. Not what you hope to do, not what you might do, what you intend. This does not have to be grand. It can be as simple as, I received this payment and I intend to use a portion of it to create a seed for the next cycle. Or, I received this opportunity and I intend to honor it by bringing my full skill to it. The forward declaration signals to the spiritual structure of your life that you are not a terminal point. You are a channel. Channels receive more than containers. A container holds what arrives and waits. A channel receives, passes on, and by the very act of passing on, makes room for more to flow through. These three elements, source acknowledgement, specific naming, forward declaration, are the operational mechanism behind what the tradition calls hakarat hatov. When all three are present, you are not performing an emotional gesture. You are completing a spiritual circuit, and a completed circuit produces a current. Now I want to address something specific. There is a version of saying thank you that is not just ineffective, it is actively damaging. And I see it constantly in people who are working hard and trying to do everything right. It is the reflexive, automatic, distracted thanks that we offer while our attention is already somewhere else. The thank you said while looking at a screen. The gratitude entry written in 30 seconds before bed with a tired mind. The prayer of thanks recited from memory without a single present thought attached to it. This is not neutral. The sages were careful on this point. When you express gratitude with your mouth and your mind is elsewhere, you are not just failing to open the channel. You are, in the language of the tradition, performing a testimony without a witness. You are making a declaration that has no one standing behind it. And a declaration with no one standing behind it does not register. In the spiritual accounting of your life, it is as though you said nothing at all. Worse, it trains the system of your attention to treat your own words as hollow. And once your words lose weight with your own spirit, they begin to lose weight with everything that responds to your spirit. This is the specific behavior that blocks your blessings. Not ingratitude, that is easy to see and easier to correct. The behavior that blocks your blessings is half gratitude, sincere in feeling, empty in structure, distracted in delivery. It looks like gratitude from the outside. It registers as nothing on the inside. The correction takes less than 90 seconds. One breath to trace the source. One sentence to name the gift specifically. One sentence to declare the forward intention. That is the practice. That is what changes what happens next. I want you to try it right now before this video ends. Think of one thing that arrived in your life in the past 72 hours. Something real, something specific. It does not need to be large. It can be a meal. It can be a conversation that helped you. It can be a problem that did not get worse when it could have. Think of one thing and silently or aloud, do all 3 steps right now as I give them to you. Acknowledge the source. This came through a person or a circumstance, but it came from the giver of all provision. Name it specifically. I received this specific thing at this specific time. Declare forward. I intend to honor it by doing this. 3 steps, 90 seconds. That is the beginning of a completely different relationship with every provision that moves toward your life from this point forward. I want to say one more thing before we move on, and I say it with all the warmth I have for you, because I have watched this mistake cost people years. The reason most people resist this level of precision in their gratitude practice is not laziness. It is a quiet, unexamined belief that the specifics do not matter to a force as large as the divine, that the source of all things does not need your exact words. It knows your heart, and your heart is enough. This belief, as tender and sincere as it is the belief of someone who has not yet understood what gratitude is actually for. The source does not need your specificity. You do. The precision of your gratitude is not for the benefit of the giver. It is for the benefit of your own vessel, the capacity of your own soul to receive and to hold what arrives. A person who has trained themselves to see gifts specifically, name them precisely, and declare their intentions forward, has built a vessel with a specific and measurable capacity. A person who has practiced vague, reflexive, distracted gratitude has a vessel full of invisible holes. The same provision pours into both, but only one of them holds it long enough for it to accumulate into something visible. You are not building gratitude to impress the giver. You are building gratitude to repair and expand your own vessel. That is the teaching. That is the whole teaching. If what I have shared with you today has opened something, if it has named a pattern you recognized in yourself, if it has given you a structure that finally makes sense of why the emotional practice alone was not producing results, then I want you to take the next step in the full architecture of this teaching. The salt and water practice I shared recently was the opening movement, clearing the channel of accumulated blockage. What I have given you today is the maintenance practice, the way you keep the channel clear after it has been opened. But the framework continues. There are practices for the first words you speak over a sum of money when you receive it. There are practices for the specific moment of financial decision, for the language of generosity, and how it plants the seed for what returns. Everything is in order. Everything connects. The link to the complete resource is below this video. If you are serious about this, not curious, serious, that is where the full architecture lives. Tell me in the comments what surprised you most in today's teaching. That question is not rhetorical. The thing that surprised you is a signal. It points directly at the place in your own practice where the shift is waiting to happen. Name it. I want to know what it was. I will be in the comments and I will respond. If you want the next layer of this teaching to reach you, not in fragments you find scattered across the internet, but in the sequence it was designed to be received, subscribe to this channel. Each video here is one more piece of the same body of wisdom. Subscribe so the pieces reach you in order. And if someone came to mind while you were listening today, someone who has been practicing gratitude faithfully and still wondering why the ceiling will not move, share this video with them. You do not have to explain it, just send it. Let the teaching do what teachings are designed to do. Find the person who is ready for it. May every gift that passes through your hands be seen fully, named clearly, and honored forward. May your vessel grow wider than your needs and deeper than your fears. May the source of all provision find in you a channel worthy of everything it is trying to send. Shalom.